Welcome back to this clown's garage. Welcome back to this clown's garage. In this video I'll show you how to change a radiator in a car. Now this car is a 87 Camaro. So anything from an 82 or 92 Camaro or Firebird, the procedure is exactly the same. However, this can be applied to almost any car with minor variations. So let's begin. Now I'm going to take this ducting off here. This is the mass airflow sensor wire, so I'm just going to pull that out. I'm going to undo this clamp. And now undo these. Just twist these, come off. Now this whole thing should come off in one assembly. Alright, make sure the car is cold when you do this job, because the radiator builds up pressure when it's hot. Then you take your radiator cap off, and this actual radiator is empty. There's no coolant in here, so you would also want to put a pan underneath to catch all the fluid. Now this hose that goes to the radiator overflow tank, the reservoir, you just undo that clamp. And you go around with it, and now you can twist this and it comes right off. Now the transmission lines, the cooling lines for the transmission, you gotta squirt some butter sauce here, or WD-40, whatever you have on hand. There's one on top and there's one underneath the radiator hose down there, which I'll get to after I do the lower radiator hose. Alright, what you need to do this job is you need a flared wrench, a line wrench like this, because it's nice and thick on the sides over here. It's the way she likes it. And that's so it won't strip the line over there. Or you could use a crow foot like this, which I like to use better. And just slip that over there and take it off. Now one other thing, if you break that, you could go to your auto parts dealer and get yourself one of these and just cut this line here and put a hose on here and attach it to the other side of the hose on the other tube. So I'm gonna go ahead and crack that loose now. Let's crack this bitch. Just like that. Now I also put a container underneath to catch any transmission fluid that comes out. So you're good. Now for lower radiator hose here, I have a 1/4 inch extension with a 5/16 socket on it, or you could put a flathead on that. So I'm just gonna take that off now. And just move that over. You can also try putting a pick in there, in the crevice, just like that, and pop that seal. Kind of tight down there, so I had a little bit of radiator fluid in there, coolant. Not a big deal. I hid the pan underneath. Now I'm going to get the other side of that lower radiator hose. That's also a 5/16. Just grab that and pull it down. Yes, just like that. This whole radiator hose comes right out. Now we get the lower transmission cooler line. I'm getting it from underneath. And that cracked loose. And there goes that one. Alright, so everything on this side is out. One thing to note, the reason why we're changing this is because there was a nipple here, a hose nipple for the heater core hose, and it broke off. So that's why this radiator has to go. I have 4 13mm bolts down here that hold the 2 radiator fans in place. The bolt here is missing, so I only have 3 in this car. So I'm going to go ahead and take these off. Now take the harness where it clips to the radiator fan motor. You just pull that down and pop these out. And I'm just going to pop the other side over there. There's another one of these. Now take these brackets off to hold the AC lines here. Just pop this out like that. And same thing on this side. Now the upper radiator hose. Clamp out of the way and put that out of the way. Now there's 4 10mm bolts here to hold that shroud in place. Go ahead and take those off. Now you can just pull everything out at once. You also have rubber isolators. Make sure you take those off. You're going to go with the new radiator. You should also have them underneath and the bottom. So go ahead and pull this off now. So this is the radiator we're putting in. It's a Champion radiator. Part number EC951. And what it looks like. It's a nice looking radiator. She's a sexy bitch. Now put the new radiator in, same way as when you took the old one out. And you're good. One thing to look at when you put the new radiator in, make sure it sits in the rubber isolators here on both sides. Alright, now I'm going to put the tri line in the bottom over here. Thread that in. You can move the line up and down a little bit. Alright, got caught, and tighten her down. And you're good. Alright, now on the radiator hose, I'm going to put some silicone lube at the ends. So next time I go to take it out, it'll be much easier. Go ahead and install the lower radiator hose on now. This is a brand new hose, by the way, I'm putting in. It's a Dakota part number 71131. And take note the way you took the old one out, so you can put this one in back in the same. And now put the one by the water pump on. Now we're going to tighten this down. Make sure you point the clamp where it's easy accessible. So again, tighten that down now. Okay, now the bottom clamp where the radiator is. And that one's tight. Now put the upper radiator line from the transmission. And it's very important you catch a couple of threads by hand with this first before you tighten it down, because you don't want to cross thread this. And move the line up and down with one hand while you're threading it in with the other. Alright, so after moving this up and down, I got a couple of turns on this by hand, which is what you want, so you don't strip it. And the rest I'm going to go with the line wrench. And you're good. Alright, so I put some lube on here too, silicone lube. This is the heater hose. Tighten this down. And you tighten this down until you see the hose being pushed in a little bit. I put the overflow tank hose on. And you're good. Now put the fans with the shroud in. Might have to move the AC lines a little bit. And just move them to the side.
Over here.
Okay, the fit isn't too well with these, so I'm just going to cut them here where it bends. I'm going to cut that off too. I'm also going to cut these sides down so it'll be completely flat. Just like that. Alright, now that they're nice and flat, you can put these in. Now this, you don't have to do in a regular car. This is in stock, so this is what you gotta do here. And I'm just gonna put these in. So now I'm gonna go underneath and put the fans in. And you're good. And now put the harnesses back on. And you're good. You now to put these back on, you're gonna have to pull it a little bit here. It's good. Put some silicone lube on that. Put the upper radiator hose on. And tighten that bitch down. I'm going to put the intake back on. And connect the mass airflow sensor. So last thing you do here is fill it up with the required coolant and bleed the air out of the system. I will put a link in the description below on how to bleed the air out. So that concludes the video on how to replace a radiator in a car. Thanks for watching, subscribe to my channel, like me and share me. Arrivederci!